We're back.
Woo!
Welcome
Hello.
back to another episode of Shoot Your Shot. Shoot your shot.
Shoot your shot. I'm Georgia.
I'm Claire, and today we have a lovely, lovely guest, Charyse Stark, who is an underwater filmmaker, photographer, who is incredible and a good friend of mine.
And her hair looks so
Welcome
good.
to the podcast. You're really much fitting your, underwater
You
aesthetic.
are.
You look
Thank
like a
you.
mermaid.
Yes,
so
you do.
Welcome to Shoot Your Shot.
Hi. So stoked to be here.
Yeah, we're so excited too. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah, we haven't had anybody specialize in underwater yet, and I know I'm personally excited to dive deep into how that even works.
Dive deep.
Ooh.
We're going to dive deep into
I didn't
the
even do it
underwater
on
world.
purpose. Dive deep.
Yeah.
I like that.
This is good fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're excited to have you on. Like she said, we've never ever talked about underwater anything, and
Yeah.
that's what you specialize in. So we know that
It is.
you know all the things. I mean, you even have workshops, courses. You're the master of underwater.
You
so
are.
we're very grateful to have you on
Yes,
today.
Thank you.
Aw.
So honored.
To start things off,
Should we do two truths and a lie? Perfect.
our segment
Two
Two Truths and a Lie, where this is an opportunity for you to flex your accomplishments or things that you've done that are really cool, or just special projects where you give us 3 things you've done. 2 are a lie.
No,
Or what?
two
are
are true and one's a
a
lie.
lie. We have to pick out which one is a lie.
Let's see. Fly airplanes.
You fly airplanes?
Well, you said 2 truths and a lie. You gotta decide which one's a lie.
Yeah, no, but okay, but you're saying that you want.
Oh, yes,
you
yes,
fly
yes, yes.
airplanes.
Yes.
Okay.
So I can fly airplanes,
Okay.
race motocross, bend to outer space. Those are the 3 that I put on my Bumble.
I feel like she has.
Space has to be the lie.
No. I feel like that's probably true because that's
Been
so
to
out
outer
there.
space. What
Dude,
does that
she's
even
definitely
mean?
been there. She's definitely, look at her. She's definitely been there. Because why? That's so obvious that it would be the lie.
I know.
So it has to not be the lie.
I think it's a motocross. It's a lie.
I think it's no way. She's wearing leather. She's wearing leather.
Wearing leather.
I was saying she definitely does. I'm gonna say, I don't know, because I want you to fly airplanes. I think that's really cool because I also want you to take me on a plane ride. I'm gonna say fly airplanes
As a lie.
as a lie.
What's
What's yours?
yours?
I think it's the second, motocross.
Motocross?
Uh-huh.
No, I haven't been to outer space.
Aw.
Are you kidding me?
I don't know. Maybe she
I knew
was
that was a lie. You steered me wrong.
But I will say I do have on one of those space balloons, I have a spot reserved so that I can
That's
go
what I
up
was
into
thinking,
it.
maybe
so I
she
haven't
was
done
on
it
that.
yet, but I
you
will.
are going to do it. Is
I
this
will.
with the company that all the influencers are doing it with in 3 years or something?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
the one.
Yeah.
That's
Except
so
I'm
funny.
paying for my spot.
Oh, you're paying for yours?
Yeah.
I was gonna say
How
I
much
tried.
is it?
It's like 100,000, isn't it?
What?
It's no, it's not
Oh.
that much. It's 50,000.
Oh, but still.
It's 50 grand.
yeah, but
That's
you
a
know, you
lot.
just save up over time. You know.
How when
I'm
when
like,
is
we should get into underwater photography.
when
I'm
is
like,
your
shit.
date? When are you
I don't have a
When are you
date yet.
supposed to do it?
You just put the deposit's $500, and then you're like, here's your spot. You have a spot, and you have
Yeah.
a thing. So you have then till whenever they give you a time.
I tried to pitch to them to send me up, Sam Coder and
They have so many people going
Well, I
up.
almost
going.
worked for that company because
Oh, really?
I knew their whoever creator guy was, and then they ended up. So they had they screwed him over. They had a contract with him. He was doing all of their content. He had already done a bunch of promotional stuff for them. He was bringing me on for all of their events, and then last minute they're like, "Yeah, we don't want to work with you anymore. We're working with an agency." And so they kind of screwed him
Lame.
over, and I don't know how that worked because I think they had a contract. So I'm not quite sure how it worked, but I was this close. He was already sending you the locations, we were going, and I was like, I'm literally going
God.
to space, and then it exploded in my face.
Damn.
It
That's
is really
sad.
cool though, the way that, because I went there to their facility and saw how they make their balloons and stuff.
Wow.
And so even if they cut through them, if it ripped, it would still hold, I don't know, however it floats in the air. I'm not a scientist,
Wow,
so
that's
I don't know
cool,
how it
though.
works. But it is really cool.
Damn,
the technology.
I thought for sure
behind
that
it.
would not be the lie because it was so out there.
I
don't
know. I was like, that's just so obvious. But
I just thought maybe in
That was
some
good,
world
though.
you've been to space. I don't know,
Maybe in a past life.
yeah.
I was just
this
doing
one.
the logistics. I was like, you have to be an astronaut.
But she
So,
could be for all we know.
Yeah, who knows? I fly planes, so it's fine.
Yeah, and she can like
Maybe
hold
I've
her,
flown up there.
You're
and
like
she can like
retired
hold her
astronaut.
breath. She can like hold her breath probably for a while if she's underwater.
Well, you've been to the outer space of the ocean.
I have.
Ooh.
What's the deepest you've ever gone?
98 feet. Well, free diving.
Free diving?
Scuba I've been to like 100, but like, yeah.
Free diving 98 feet is a lot.
That's crazy. How do you?
I don't think it's a lot because so many of my friends go to like 300 feet and they can stay down there. Mine,
Holding their breath?
Yeah. So I could have.
I'm like losing my breath just saying it.
I'm gonna pass out. No, like I could have. My breath holds fine. Like I could definitely go deeper and be fine. But the trick is after 60 feet, you have to keep air like in your cheeks to then equalize your mask. So if you go without a mask, it's actually easier, and people will go with like no mask and a clip on a line. I had a mask on. But after 60 feet, if you you swallow your air, so you take it from your cheeks and you put it back in your lungs, or you use what's in your cheeks and put it in your mask or equalize your ears with it. So what I did is I re-inhaled the air after 60 feet that was in my cheeks, so then I didn't have any air to like push into my mask. So I was sitting at 98 feet and just looking down at the thing for a few
All of
seconds.
your friends going down.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I was so close because I want to get to 100. It will happen.
Oh, that
People go to 300.
But wait, they do
they
it
go-
without
yeah.
a mask?
Sometimes.
What does that mean? Like, how do you even see? They're just opening their
You just
eyes
have
in
a
the
line,
bare
so
ocean?
you just, and then at some point you have like a lot of people have a belt and they clip onto like the line.
Have goggles. They have like the eye
Oh,
thing. She's talking about like the face, like the.
No, they'll go without goggles.
I think that's what she's
without
saying.
goggles?
Without
Yeah.
goggles. Like, they just open their eyes like underwater.
What? How?
How can they even
Do
see?
these people not wear contacts? Because that would never work for me.
you couldn't wear contacts. You take them out. But
And then you're
the salt.
blind,
Yeah.
300 feet under the ocean.
You're like,
that
this
sounds
is
lovely.
sick. Woo.
You can like open your eyes. The salinity is very similar to like your body's salinity. So like it doesn't. The salt water isn't as like affecting your eyes as like pool water or like fresh water.
Oh,
That's so wild to me because isn't it like pretty dark down there?
It's super dark. Yeah. As you get deeper.
So what are
I
you?
have
they
terrible
they
night vision.
They clip on. They clip onto the line, and then at one point, like you just kind of fall. So it's like a free fall. So you just fall as far as you can, and then once you get to a certain point, like maybe that's your max, then you rotate back up and swim back up. But at some point, you just fall.
That's crazy.
Have you
Depending on
ever
your
been like
weight.
scared underwater? Have you ever had any like panicky situations?
Or like where you just forgot to, I don't know, you forgot to
Forgot to
breathe.
breathe.
Not breathe, but like you forgot to not breathe.
There was one time we were doing a shoot and it was like in the most shallow water. It was like 5 feet of water. It was not like you could stand up and put your head up. But my friend Natalie, she was doing a shoot for like plastic awareness, which was in Esquire, Kazakhstan or something.
Wow.
And so we had wrapped a bunch of plastic around me and then rope around me. So the rope was like tied around my legs, which was fine. But then I forgot that it was tied around my legs. So when I went to like look up and go up, I realized I couldn't go up because my feet were tuck angled. And so I inhaled an entire breath of water. And I'm like trying to get to the surface.
Oh my
And so then I
gosh.
got to the surface, then I'm just like, I exhaled and it was just like water.
Oh.
that came out.
Wait, how did you get to the surface?
I just like pushed with my hands. And then my friend that was supposed to be doing safety didn't really realize I was like actually dying. And then I was like looking at him and I finally could cough and I was like, come here.
You're
And
like,
he,
I almost died.
Yeah, like I'm like coughing up water. And so then he comes over and like picks me up so I could like come out of the water. And I'm just like coughing up so much water.
Wow.
It's for like several days. And then I like,
For several days?
yeah,
Whoa.
every time I would cough, it smelled like seawater.
Oh my
it was
gosh.
horrible. That was, yeah.
That's crazy.
So that was
That's
the
in,
only
like,
time.
5 feet of water, and you're talking about how you also go 98 feet.
I
Yeah.
know. That's gnarly.
Yeah. So shallow water is real. You can also drown in it. I've experienced it.
It's so weird how like water just gets stuck in you because whenever I go surfing, I'll have water spill out of my nose for an entire day. I'll like bend down to pick up my camera and there's just like and just like water comes out of my. I'm like, that's disgusting. I hope no one just saw that happen.
And even like 30 minutes or an hour later, you're like dripping water out of your sinuses.
It's just like coming down, and you're like, where's this water stored right now? It's just like floating in my body.
Does that happen? Like when you go 98, like let's say when you go 98 feet, do you have water that just comes out of you like days after? I don't know.
Out of you?
Like, how does it work?
Just shoots out
not,
of your hair.
it's just like
imagine?
dripping out. No, only because I have a mask on, so it's not like getting in my sinuses.
Oh, okay,
I don't know
okay.
why I pointed to my nose.
Like, no, that's good because I actually didn't even realize like you had the mask with the nose piece on until you just did that.
Yes, so it's like the full mask because you need to be
Yeah.
able to push air through your nose to be able to equalize around your eyes. So like the swimming ones that just cover your eyes, you can't wear those because the pressure builds up so much you can't equalize the space. So your eyes will literally like feel like they're popping out.
Are there little devices you can like stick on your nose that help you breathe? Because you know how in movies you see that in like rescue movies, they'll be like saving someone from the bottom of a lake, and then they'll just put this like magnetic device that just like hooks onto their face so that they can breathe. Have you ever seen that?
No.
I have not.
Oh,
We're both like,
I think that's
I'm,
like a
thinking
movie
about
magic
it.
thing.
Yeah. Is that like a real thing?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Well, if it isn't, you should definitely invent it.
I come up with that. You're
That
like, I
would be
saw it on a
cool.
movie one time. I'm sure it works.
Yeah.
But there's nothing like that.
I mean, they have like these. I mean, if you're resuscitating someone, they have like a mask that goes over them so that you can like protect yourself from like giving mouth to mouth, or you can give them like bag
Underwater?
air. No, like once they come up to the
Oh,
surface.
but there's nothing for like underwater.
Not really. I mean, unless you're using like a scuba system, but
How is that not a thing yet? You know, like something you can just put on your nose and your mouth to help you breathe. But it's like not like a huge attachment. It's just like a little device.
Yeah, that is a good point.
Just, like,
It's
stick
almost
on
like
your
a
face.
submarine, but for your body.
Well, except it's just for your nose and your mouth.
There's like, no.
I mean, so with scuba diving, that's compressed air, so you need a large space to hold it, like a larger space.
Oh, that's a good question.
Depending on
actually.
how long you're down.
So what's the difference for you between scuba diving and filming and free diving and filming?
Most of the stuff I do is free diving.
Oh,
It's
okay.
going to be kind of ugly, right? Because you're just wearing all this stuff. It's like heavy.
Yeah, it's not like graceful. It's not
Yeah.
like pretty. I mean, I do shoot like when I'm scuba diving to get deeper, or like there are some animals that just don't really come up to the surface. But for the most part, like, and then the colors change so much as you go deeper. So like if you're deeper than 30 feet, there's not really any color but blue. So
Got you.
within
I
that
didn't know
first
that.
30 feet is like your prime
Like-
area to shoot, because
there's
then
some
you
light.
get color from the light.
Got
Yeah.
it.
Have you ever had any encounters with like a weird animal?
I
just, like,
mean,
any
weird.
animal?
I have lots of animals underwater, like blue
What's been like
whales.
the
Big
scariest
ones?
animal?
Scariest? I think eels are scary
Oh, I don't think I've ever even thought about an eel underwater.
because like if they
Opposed to on land.
No, I felt like I felt like you were gonna say like a shark like looked you in the eyes or something.
oh, I definitely have been like this close to a shark's face.
That's crazy. But like I never even thought of like an eel because don't they? What do they do again?
They
like
just-
sting you or something.
All I think
They
is the
bite
Little
you.
Mermaid and how they're little assholes, and they're like,
Yeah, they're with Ursula and they come over and they're just digs. No, they just scare me because like if they did bite you, like it's very rare. It's not like it happens all the time, but they could bite you, and then what they do with like their prey is they twist their body. So if they latched onto you, they're twisting their body, kind of like if you ever seen an alligator bite someone and they start rolling around. That's kind of what the eels do. So they could just rip off your flesh, and that is scary. And then I have some friends who like will go up and they'll be like, I'm gonna pet you, and they literally like are petting the eels, and I'm like, I don't have any desire
To pet
like
the
the
eel?
benefit versus reward is not
there for
not
you.
there
Yeah.
for me. I'd rather just go with swim with sharks or whales or anything else.
Is
That's
the
crazy.
biggest thing you've ever swam with a whale?
Blue whale.
Blue whale.
That's so cool.
How
I've
big
always
is
wanted to
that?
see one underwater.
Like you have to like turn your head to look at the whole thing. So they're massive, and they're really cool though because they look like they're silver, like they're reflective underwater. So they just look like metal when you're
Whoa.
diving with them. But they're so big. So like, and like the distortion you get underwater, like when you start getting closer, you're like, oh, I'm so close, but you're still like 100 feet away from them.
Oh, whoa! I knew that was a thing.
Yeah.
Do they like are they conscious that there's humans swimming next to them? Like,
Yeah.
do they know you're human and not like
Food.
an animal?
They know you're not food. I think they just think you're really like bad swimming creatures.
Oh.
Like, because you're
They're
just like,
judging us.
you know, like we're not like dolphins who are really graceful and can move really
Yeah.
fast, or sea lions. We're just like there and we're like awkwardly swimming, and they're probably like, oh, these poor creatures
They feel bad
in the
for
water. That's what I think they probably
I've
think.
always wanted to go underwater and like turn my head and just see like a huge whale. Like I feel like it would be so cool, but also so scary. I just feel like it
Everyone
would be a
thinks it's
rush.
scary, but it's really not. It's, I don't know how to explain it. Like whenever people ask me like what it's like to swim with whales, because I swim with humpbacks like all the time, which I'm super grateful because it's my favorite thing.
Aw.
But once you get in the water, they feel like you're interacting with humans. Like you can read their body language just like you can like if we were talking or interacting. And they'll like, the babies especially will like react to your body movements. So if you like wave at them, they'll try to like stick their fin out and wave at you.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
And then if you roll underwater, like if you start spinning underwater, they'll like be like, ooh, and they'll get excited and they'll roll around. So
Stop.
it's
That is
really,
so cute.
it's really special.
Wait, have you ever had like a whale or a big underwater animal accidentally like hit you? You know what I mean? Like,
Never hit me.
or like swim on top of you where it's like thrown off your complete like balance or
2 times.
where you're at. That's
Once.
what I'm worried about whenever I go swimming with whales. That's the only thing I like think is my fear.
The adults are fine. It's the babies because they're like human babies where they don't have a lot of coordination.
Okay.
So the little babies are kind of like floppy in the water. And I had one baby come up to me as I'm like trying to back up and give it space, and it puts its nose like on my chest, and it's just like, you know. And it was really cute, but I'm also like trying to like get out of its way because like I don't want the mom to feel
Like, threatened or anything.
Even though like the mom and baby that we were with, the mom was like, she looked like she had babies before kind of thing, where she was like literally pushing the baby over to us to like be like, look at my baby. So that was one time.
No.
They like present them to you sometimes. And then the other time was with a really young whale shark. We were in Tahiti and it was swimming over to us. And like, I try not to touch, like, I don't like touching them, like, because they have like bacteria on their skin that helps protect them from everything else. So it came over to like right in my face, and I like starfished above the thing, and it was like swimming like literally right underneath of me, and I'm like trying to maneuver so that I wouldn't bump it. I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And then the boat was right here, and so I was bumping the boat with my back, and then the baby was like, and it turns around like under me and then goes back out. I'm like, okay.
That is insane.
I know.
Those are the 2 times. But otherwise,
That is
You would have to have
wild.
such good like control of your breath to not accidentally like freak out and start, I don't know, drowning.
yeah, luckily these were at the
That's crazy.
surface, so my snorkel was still in, so you're just like
Oh, okay,
breathing
okay.
normally, but I wasn't underwater. Usually underwater you have a little more maneuverability than at the surface because you can go up or
Right,
down.
right.
That's crazy.
Yeah. To get
Okay.
either way.
So cool.
I know. Okay, so like bringing that all in, like I guess kind of talk about how you even got into this underwater world. Oh gosh. Like did you pick up a camera and you were like, I want to go underwater with this, or did you start doing other stuff before that? Like what led you to go underwater?
Okay, this is gonna be a long story.
Okay.
Because when I was a kid, I always loved whales, dolphins. Dolphins were my favorite. But I grew up in northern Michigan, and I never even like was near the ocean. So like I don't, maybe a past life that came from. I'm not really sure. But I was like, oh, I'm gonna do marine biology because like that was the only thing I could think of that would like let me or allow me to like work with them. And then I realized as I got older that like marine biology is like, you don't really work with the animals. You're in in a lab. Like sometimes you interact with them, but it's always from the surface, and it wasn't quite what I wanted. So then it wasn't until like late 20s. I was like in 2017. I took a trip to Tonga just to swim with whales, and I'd always been creative. So I was like, I always drew. I did like graphic design, and I had a camera, but I didn't really know how to use it. I just used it for fun versus like thinking I would ever use it for professional use. So when I went and like experienced it there and like just being underwater, and I was like, this is my purpose. and like, this is what I need to do. And it wasn't even like I need to shoot them. I was like, I just wanted to like give that same experience through what I was doing to other people so that they could have a glimpse into that, or
It's
like
a cool
a little
moment,
bit.
a cool
Yeah.
feeling when you have that.
Yeah. I just wanted to like connect people to that feeling versus like thinking that I would ever do it all the time. And then the next year in like 2018, when I went back, I like borrowed a camera from my friend and I just like randomly would shoot, or like if they wanted to dive, I would use their camera and like take photos. And then, so that's where it started. And then the year after that, I actually bought a camera and lenses and then housing and like actually got into it. So I've been doing that long, but like it feels good to be able to like share those experiences. And
But that is cool. Like you're insanely good, and to know that you've only really kind of got into it fully, like 2018 ish.
yeah.
That you're so good already. Like that's inspiring in itself. I feel like for people who are sitting there being like, should I buy housing? Should I go underwater? And you're like doing
Yes.
it already amazingly in just a couple years.
Do it.
Well, it's not a couple
Buy
years.
one.
It's
Well,
5 years.
like 5 years, but
Yeah.
still, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What camera did you buy, and like what housing did you buy?
When I first started, I still have the first camera I have. I had an A7R III, which was mostly for photo. So that's where I started. And then I got like the Sea Frogs housing, because with the Sea Frogs housing, you can use all your buttons. And so that's what I was using. And you can like lock it in, and like it's more protective. It has a dome so that you can do like half above water, half under shots.
Oh,
and
cool.
it helps for the distortion of the water, having a dome versus like they have ports as
Okay.
well. That's a whole nother
No, that's
whole
good
nother
though.
thing.
Yeah,
That's
no, we
good
want
for people
the
who are
details.
listening, because like they're probably wondering like, what housing do I buy? So this is good.
Yeah. So like a port is great for like surf photography, or if you're like above the water, or if you don't mind like switching up the distortion of the water. But the more space that's in the dome, the better, or the less distortion you get underwater.
Okay.
So that's why the
Gotcha.
domes are really nice. And they just give you like better ability to do those like half under, half over shots that you see a lot of the time.
Is that what housing you use now too?
No, now I upgraded my housing because unfortunately my housing leaked a little bit.
Oh
With
no.
a
A
camera
couple
in it?
times. Yeah, it was fine. The camera's fine. I still
Okay.
have it. It's great.
Okay.
It's got a little salt on it, but it's
That's
fine.
fine. It gives it character.
Yeah, exactly. It's been through some things.
Yes.
And some of my friends have had that housing for years and never had any problems. I don't know what I was doing wrong with it, but then I switched to an Icolite, which just gave me the ability to like vacuum out the air.
Oh, okay.
So like I didn't have to worry about the housing fogging as much because there's not as much air in the system.
Would that happen a lot with the other one?
Yeah. So, and you had to like, I would cover it with like a cold towel all the time. And like, I don't have to worry about that now. So it's just like I set it and I can just grab it anytime.
Oh, that's
Gotcha.
nice. Is there anything
Yeah.
that you have to do? I don't know, because I don't do underwater, like technical wise with your camera, the deeper you go? Or is it pretty much you just get your settings set and you can mess with it down
it's
there?
about the same. You can adjust everything once you're down there.
Okay.
Obviously like gets darker, so you don't have as much light to work with. So in that sense, I usually have like something that gives me a little bit less aperture or lower aperture, so that I can adjust to the light. But I mean, that's about the only thing that you have to worry about.
Oh, okay.
And then,
Sorry, go for it.
okay, say, different housings have different depths. So some of the housings only go to like 30 feet, and then some of the housings will go to like several
okay.
hundred.
Oh, I didn't know that.
What's what makes the difference?
Just the build of the housing and
Gotcha.
vacuuming and like the ceiling around it. So some of them can't withstand like the pressure of going deeper into the water.
Got you.
Yeah.
What's your go-to lens for underwater photography?
I always have a 16 to 35 because I like the wide angle. But if I'm like, and wide angle also helps make the water look super clear
Oh,
and a
that's
little bit
good
higher
tip.
aperture. So it makes everything look a little clearer in the water, even if it's like there's particles or something. And then if it is clear and I want to like get closer without getting closer, I can just switch it over to 35 and have my shot. So I
Right,
can
right.
adjust it much easier underwater than having to think like I have one lens, a prime lens, and that's all I can shoot with.
Do you think that's like the go-to industry lens for underwater photography?
I think a lot of photographers that I know use that,
16
a 16 to 35.
Has anyone ever used like a 7200, or would that be like insane?
You could. The first lens I actually used was a 50.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
And the 50's really cool because it gives at the top of the water, it gives you like this bokeh effect of the like little sparkles on the water. And it's so pretty and you get that compression. But you also have to get the focus so perfect on a like a higher millimeter lens that you have to like find a high area of contrast, and underwater like everything's blue, so you
Right.
don't always have that unless you're really close.
You don't have something to like pinpoint.
Yeah, so it's much harder to use like a prime lens with a higher millimeter.
That makes sense.
So with you saying it's super blue, because that's a question I always wonder personally, like how do you navigate, well, I guess two things. How do you navigate one, the unique different lighting like things that happen underwater, because I feel like it's constantly changing because water's like moving. I don't know, it might sound dumb, but like
right.
it's constantly moving. There's constantly like different changes. So one, how do you navigate that under there? And then two, the editing process, like how do you navigate editing like such, I mean, not such blue images, but because there's not much to work with, I feel like in terms of lighting.
That's definitely okay. Let's do the first one first.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, those are probably like two like loaded questions.
So lighting is very challenging, especially because you'll either have cloudy skies or really sunny, or you have sunset lighting, and it is all different. One thing that I try to do like is get lower than the animal. Like if they're at the surface, which a lot of the times like the whales or the person that you're shooting is like closer to the surface, I just try to get a little bit below them so that your light source is behind them or at a better angle to where they're at. Because if you're shooting like down into them, like they're a little bit illuminated, but it doesn't give you that like, I don't know, like awness of the ocean.
Yeah.
Where if you're lower, you get those like sunbeams into the water, and then you get that a little bit more dimension, which I like. Obviously, you can't always get deeper because, you know, they're whales, and it's hard to do that because they can dive way deeper than I can. But that's what I try to do.
Okay, so to now go into editing, because I know, I mean, I'm assuming color just is so different from above land and underwater. Like, how do you navigate the editing world with that? Because I know people struggle with editing underwater photography.
And do you shoot at specific like color on the camera for editing? Like, do you shoot an auto white balance, or do you shoot on something else?
Okay. So my Sony does have like a auto underwater.
Oh,
Oh, that's cool.
It doesn't always do the best job. Like it because everything is so blue, it's not the best. I mean, for my camera settings, I don't really do much to it because I can always like adjust it post. If I'm shooting video though, I'll shoot flat. There's like a flat profile so that I can bring back colors and stuff. But for photo, I don't really do much to my settings other than like your aperture, your shutter speed, things like that. But for editing, when I first started editing, it was completely different than how I edit now, which I was still trying to find like my style. And in the beginning, I would adjust like your temperature. If you bring like, because there's so much lacking of color. If you bring up your like your white balance, I don't know how else to say it. If you bring up your temperature and then bring up your tint, so you're bringing back the yellows and the pinks and reds, and then you go down and you like I use the HSL a lot underwater to like readjust those more fine-tunedly. And then sometimes it gets a little flat, so then I'll like add back in the contrast and your blacks, and then give it a little S curve. So like there's so much that goes into it. That's how I edited in the beginning, and then now I'm much more like I don't always do the temperature and the tint as much anymore. Like I'll start with like contrast and the blacks because like I tend to edit so much darker. And then I'll add a couple masks to like draw the eye into the center of the photo. So like I'll lighten the top and I'll darken the bottom so that it just kind of like, this is where I want your eye to go.
I love that. I love I love how specific you're being, because I feel like I don't know. I just feel like not a lot of people really dive deep into how they edit.
Yeah.
So it's cool, at least me, because I do photography and I love editing. Like it's just cool to hear your perspective on the underwater side of it, and I'm sure other people listening probably think it's cool too.
Yeah, and it gets more complicated. Like if you want something that's like kind of like a black and white photo, you actually don't make it black and white.
Oh.
You do 100 different things. Like I use a little dehaze and like clarity, and then you adjust all the colors, and you bring the like saturation down almost all the way, but then you bring your blues back up, and like keeping a little bit of the blue in the color makes it more like 3-dimensional. Versus like if you just go straight to black and white, it makes it more flat. So as long as you keep like a tiny bit of color into the whole like editing process, you get this like really nice like almost 3D effect to like
I know. I like
That's
that. Cool.
That is cool.
That's a
thought
little
of that.
It's a little trick.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a little trick, which I've learned over times, like being around so many underwater photographers, like everyone edits in so many different ways. And it's really fun to like be like, oh, look at this is how I edited this photo. Like, how did you edit yours? And then you could just take like little tidbits from each other and like, oh, like try this and try that. Another thing I do is I take all of my aquas out and then brighten my aquas, because it keeps a lot of the aqua will stay in the whites of a whale or like the whites of the photo. And if I like to take them out, so that just gives it more like of a crisp look. So that's what I do.
So interesting.
I know.
So
I could sit here and listen to you talk about. I'm like imagining like Lightroom in my head.
You're like seeing all this
move. Yeah. So I'm curious, how do you create a career out of underwater content creation? Like, I feel like my immediate thought would be like Nat Geo, like you're shooting a documentary about like sperm whales or something.
That would be awesome. Yeah, they are. They're really cool.
But how have you made a career out of this? Because a big part of our podcast is wanting to help our listeners figure out how to monetize their craft, and so we would love to know, like, how have you monetized your craft?
That's a great question. Also, would love to shoot for Nat Geo.
Nat
Geo will tag you. That would be like the ultimate like company to work for.
That'd be so cool. Yeah.
It took me a really long time. I think like I wasn't super confident in the beginning, like I think as everyone is. And I didn't really know that I was going to make a career out of it. I just started like sharing it. And then, by getting connected with different people, I would get like, I had gotten sponsorship from like a scuba company, and then I would shoot a little bit for them. And so then I could put that on like, oh, I've like worked with this company. And there was a lot of stuff I did for free in the beginning, or like for trade. One thing I do with, I guess, like my whole like working in underwater is like I try to align myself with companies that actually want to do good for underwater. They don't always have like the biggest budgets, but it's like I'm already going to be diving and I'm already going to be doing this stuff. So I think especially when I was starting out, it was more of like aligning myself with companies that stayed true to my values and like protecting the ocean, and then just like getting into spaces, whether it's Instagram or social media or networking or like reaching out to underwater photographers and just creating with them that like will build your confidence in how you're editing. But as far as like work, I think like just for me, I just want to share like the passion and the experience. And so when I've reached out to companies, I'm like, this is something that I want to like share with the people following me, because they're just as interested in this niche subject as I am. And so like, I think finding the companies that align very specifically to underwater, and want the ocean to be the prime like focus of your content creation has been like the best route for me.
Do you reach out more? Do clients reach out to you?
I've had more clients reach out to me.
Got you.
Oh, good.
Is it from Instagram usually?
Yeah, usually they see my like content on Instagram, or they'll see like a shared post or like another Instagram post sharing my stuff. And they're like, oh, we saw this amazing video that you did underwater, and we'd like to work with you. So that's when usually those companies are like smaller companies. The bigger companies that I've reached out to have I don't know how to say this. It was just cut there. No, I also do like underwater modeling. So I'm usually like a diver.
Cool.
So like in incorporating both like me being the diver or me being the photographer has also been beneficial, because like once you like start underwater photography, you have to learn how to get very good at diving.
Yeah.
Right.
And moving gracefully or like slowly to like approach animals, and so that just like makes you look really good underwater.
Right.
And so I've gotten like reached out to just like being the diver and stuff. So I've worked with like Garmin and doing that too. But most of the stuff has just been people reaching out to me just because I'm sharing content.
That's
That's
awesome.
good.
So-
That's important to note those, like to share your work.
Yeah. And I don't share to like be like, I wonder how many likes this is going to get. Like I share the photos that I like. Like I don't like, it's nice to have the likes and the comments, but I'm like, this is a photo I like, and I don't care if you like it. Like this is my page.
That's good.
And I'm going to share it because this is cool for me. But I feel like it gives it a different like perspective. Like people react, I think, differently.
Well, it's more authentic because you're actually sharing what you're passionate about.
Yeah,
for
So
sure.
I know, because I know you personally, I know that you also do these like what do you call them, like the travel like groups that you trips that you organize.
Yeah.
Like, tell us about that.
So that was another way for me to like, again, connect people to what I was experiencing. So I actually helped one of my friends run his trips for a while when I first started photography, or first started like diving with whales. And so I got like a lot of experience in helping run trips. And then I kind of started running my own. So just taking like a group of people out to Tahiti or Tonga, and then we go on the boat for like 5 days. We go out to look for whales, humpback whales, and then we all stay together, and it's kind of like camp. Like it's like you go for like this week, and at the beginning, like everyone's like, oh hi, like everyone's like not super interactive, but because you're experiencing this really crazy thing together, and you're sharing it, and you're like excited about the same things, and you're like, did you see that? Like, oh my gosh, like, wow. Like, and so many people cry when they first do it because it's so emotional.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the week, it's like sad to like leave everyone.
You're like
you're like,
family.
no, yeah.
Yeah.
So you create these like really deep bonds with these like really cool people, because like the people who are coming are already interested in like adventure, and like so you're bringing like these people from all around the world together that have like liked interests, and they get to just like build friendships while also like getting to experience this really cool thing.
Yeah.
So-
Where are some of the places you've gone?
To swim the whales. I've been to most of the places. Is like I've been Tahiti and Tonga the most. I go every year to those places.
Are those like the best places to find marine life or to find whales?
I mean, it's easier to find them there, and the water is typically fairly clear, so you get really good encounters with them. But that's just where they migrate through.
Got it.
And you're allowed to like get in the water there with them. Like there's obviously regulations, but you can still get in the water there, and not every country does that. Like
I didn't know that.
we went and filmed there was a group of us filmed in Portugal where we had to like apply for a permit and like do all of these like hoops to be able to even like get in the water to document them.
Do you pay?
Yeah, so you have to like submit for like I can't remember what it was called, but it was like submit for like the application, and then you pay for like the boat and the boat captain and stuff like that. So we would just do that like on our own time and our own money, just because like we wanted to be able to document like blue whales or sperm whales. And so it depends on which countries you're going to, whether you can get in the water with specific animals. So like if you're going to another country, just like check the regulations before you're like, oh, this place has whales, I'm just gonna go swim with them.
Yeah.
And then I've been to the Maldives to swim with tiger sharks, which is insane.
That's so cool.
It was really cool.
I feel like we need to like insert like different photos as you're explaining this in our edit.
Yeah.
So you can see all the different animals.
Yeah, I can send you.
Yeah.
Sick.
But yeah, I think those are the most places that I've gone to actually like encounter animals. I've been to like Rajampat and dove with like, we had like big mantas there. And so it's like, depending on the location you're going to, there's always like different animals at different times of the year. So
Is there like a underwater photographer bucket list location that everybody wants to go to, or you have to cross off before you do, or before you keep going?
for what I've found, Tonga and like Komodo Rajampa are like some of the top ones, or Philippines. Those seem to be like places that a lot of my friends that I know that do underwater photography are like love going, and like, or if they haven't gone, they're like, I really want to go there.
Yeah. The only thing even remotely close to this that I've done, which is not even nearly as cool, is I went swimming with manta rays in the Maldives.
That is
That
cool.
was pretty cool, but that's like the only thing.
Mantas are crazy
yeah,
cool.
It was insane. It was pretty crazy. But I want to go so bad to go see whales.
You should.
Same. I haven't seen a whale. I want one. Let's do it.
I'm so down.
Let's do a girls trip to
Yes.
see whales.
Yes. Well, she's going to Tahiti in August. I'm like,
Oh my god!
If you
let's
wanna
fly
come
to
out.
Tahiti and go see whales.
I would be so down.
We could do
should.
another podcast episode there.
Yeah,
like, live
like
from Tahiti.
under the tree.
I feel like there's so much we could cover in this episode with you that like we need a part 2. Because
I know.
like there's just too much that we could talk about.
I
like,
know.
in Tahiti.
Yeah, in Tahiti.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
yes.
Today we are playing Under the Sea. This is a segment specifically dedicated to you
Like
because
the
you're.
segment will never come back.
Yeah, this is
your
a one-time
segment.
thing. So since you do underwater
are
photography,
jealous.
All the
of
other
this
guests
segment.
are jealous.
I know.
You want to do this?
So since you do underwater photography, we figured we would do kind of like a cute speed round of questions.
Oh,
Where,
and
Okay.
for those who are only listening in audio, let me just describe the scene because they're like, what
yes.
the fuck are they doing?
so
Okay, so
I've decided to create another interesting segment.
It's called Under the Sea. There is a bucket filled with water with 3 little plastic fishies, and Charyse is holding a fishing pole
Yes, with a bobber.
with a bobber, and she's gonna bob for these fish.
Yes.
In this water.
At least I don't have to like bob for apples like in my whole face.
We
goes
no,
in to put it in
we
my
thought
mouth.
about having you like go into a fish tank.
Yeah.
Oh my
but
But that was just too
There's too
complicated.
much. Like we just got this right before you came from Target. Well, Jack did. Okay, so basically how it works, it's called Under the Sea. You're going to try to pick one of the fish up. You're going to throw it back in the ocean though. So don't worry, like for people
Catch
out
and
there.
release.
Yeah, catch and release.
So
The
what
fish
we're
are going to live.
It's not real fish.
It's
guys,
not real
just so you're
fish
aware.
for anybody who can't see it. And then each fish you get will ask a question.
Okay.
And you're going to do it twice because there's going to be 6 questions.
Okay.
Okay, ready and go. Under the sea.
Okay.
Oh, I got one.
Hey! Okay, first question. Favorite swim stroke?
Swim stroke?
Yeah, backstroke, freestyle, butterfly, breaststroke.
I don't
I'll
know.
put it here.
I don't know what it's called. It's for free diving though. It's like you make a keyhole. So you like put your hands at the top and then you make a keyhole around your body, and so it pushes you under the water better. I don't know.
Is it kind of like
For those of you not seeing
She's
Georgia,
attempting to demonstrate.
I'm doing like
She's
the
dancing.
butterfly?
It looks just like a chicken.
somewhat like that, yeah. But it helps you like get under the water quicker, so you use less energy.
So the keyhole.
Yeah, it's like I don't know what it's called. I should probably know, but it's like you do a keyhole shape.
We can coin it as the keyhole. And then
We're gonna.
Okay.
It's now the keyhole.
It's now the keyhole.
Whether
All right,
it's that or not.
Next fishy.
next
Okay.
fish.
I'm gonna try for the blue one. Come on, little guy.
Oh,
Ooh, nice.
Oh, he
So
looks
you
like a
ask it.
shark.
If you could start your journey again, what would you do differently?
Oh my gosh, that's a good question. I don't know that I would do anything differently because I've gotten here on everything that's happened.
But if
I
you
think
had to, if you had to.
the only thing that I would probably just like be more immersed when I first started it, like rather than just doing, because I just did underwater for the first couple of years. I never dabbled in anything above water because the editing above water confused me for the longest time. Just I'm like, I can't adjust anything. This is confusing for me. So I think I would just immerse myself more in shooting as much as I could in the beginning so that it would like develop my skills faster. Not that it has taken me a long time, but in the beginning, like I think that's what I would do.
That's a
And
good
shoot
answer.
more video
Yeah.
in the beginning.
That is a good
Just
answer.
practice.
That's a
Okay.
good one.
Next one.
Okay. Pink guy. He doesn't want it.
You can name him.
Yay!
Oh, there we go.
He's
Okay.
Sparky.
Sparky. I like that.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
That was
Sparky.
aggressive.
I'm just kidding. Okay. What is the one dive you have yet to do that you want to do?
I really want to go to Palau in the Philippines. Because there's these huge bait balls of fish, and I just want to swim through them.
Bait balls.
Bait balls.
What do you
Okay,
mean?
so there's like hundreds to thousands of fish
Like in
in
Finding
one
Nemo.
spot. Yes, like in
Yeah,
Finding
and you
Nemo.
like go through the middle and do
Yeah,
the
and they,
little-
like,
You can go in.
split apart
I
and, like,
do not
move
want those
around.
fish to touch me. Do you ever get grossed
They
out when
don't.
they,
They don't
you?
touch you. They move around you. I mean,
Okay.
I have been in a bait ball in Tonga in a cave, which was magical.
Whoa.
It's one of my favorite things. But the one in Philippines is just a little bit different. And then Palau for whale sharks
Oh,
in
yeah,
clear
wait.
water.
What has any like animal touched you where you're like, ew?
No,
Oh.
not yet. Again, I'm not really that grossed out by many things.
Oh, that's
So,
good. That's good.
Yeah.
We love that.
Okay, next fishy.
Okay, next fish.
I went to Sharky.
Yay!
He's so
Sharky.
cute.
Oh, look,
He
he has
is
teeth.
You guys can't see it, but you know,
Yeah.
he's cute.
Do you believe in Atlantis?
Yes.
I believe in it too.
I do think there was a city, maybe not that people lived underwater, but I do think there was a city that was covered in underwater.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
That was called Atlantis.
It's been
100%.
proven.
Yeah.
That's been proven. It's now covered in water, but it wasn't covered in water.
No, I definitely
then.
believe
Whenever
that-
it was.
I definitely believe there's some like little fish creatures living under there.
Fish creatures. There's definitely fish creatures
Well, like-
living
like-
in the ocean.
Like human
Like
fish.
human fish creatures.
Human things.
We don't know. There could
I mean, there
be.
could be.
We
Who
have
are
no
we to
idea
say?
what's under all the way down.
Have you seen the stuff in the black, like really, really deep water? They look like aliens.
Really?
Those are scary.
Really? I
Yeah.
a lot of
haven't.
stuff down there? We
They
just
like
don't.
glow and
Really?
sparkle, but then they look like they
Crazy.
could kill you.
No.
They're creepy.
Can you imagine?
They're aliens.
What is at the bottom of the ocean? Like, I want to know.
There's so much of the ocean that has not been
I know.
explored.
That's what I mean because it takes up what like 70% of the earth,
And hasn't there
or
just
well, not the
There's
ocean,
a
but water.
very small percentage of the ocean that's been explored.
exactly like that's crazy to wrap your mind
Like
around.
more of, I think, outer space has been explored than underwater.
That's insane.
That is.
So like, who are we to say?
Crazy.
Maybe the aliens are just in the water.
Maybe.
I think
We're-
so.
Maybe.
We're going the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Honestly. Okay, next fishy.
Okay. He's going
What's
yellow.
this one's name?
This one is Sunny.
Sunny, I
Oh.
like that.
Yeah.
Okay, how do you hold your breath for so long?
I stay very relaxed. So at the surface before I dive, I try to like get in a really meditative space if there's time. Like sometimes there's not enough time. But the more you can like relax your body and stay really calm, the less energy you're taking. And so the more like the less oxygen you're consuming in your body. So I found that like those are the times that I can hold my breath the longest is if I can like just fully relax, almost as if I'm sleeping at the top of the surface. Like that's how relaxed you get, and then you dive down if you have time.
Do you ever practice outside of the water?
I do. I
do?
have an app, and I do these like little breath holds where you
Ooh,
like
what's the app?
apnea trainer.
Oh, okay.
So like you inhale for like 12 seconds, you hold your breath for like I don't know 30 seconds, and you exhale for 24 seconds.
Not her doing it right now. I'm dead.
You have to exhale super slow, but it's
messed up.
really hard. It's like
I
working
messed
out for your lungs.
So how long can you hold your breath?
Gosh, I haven't actually, people ask me this all the time, and I haven't tried to like time myself in like 3 years.
What's an estimation? Like,
I don't, probably like 2.5 minutes.
okay.
Ooh, that's good.
I could probably get to 3. It'd probably be pretty easy if I just like was
feel like-
diving.
I feel like you're making me like take a
But
deep breath.
I have friends who are like 7 minutes,
That's insane.
That is fucking
and
crazy.
yeah, I should time myself. I will this
Don't
summer.
your lungs like literally change when you like?
Go deeper.
Yeah.
They shrink, so that's why it's harder.
Have you ever
to, like,
felt it like shrink and expand?
You don't
in
really
you?
feel it. I feel comfortable once I get deeper than like 30 or 40 feet because I have scoliosis. So like my rib cage is already like tight at the bottom.
Oh wow.
So like when I have to like expand my rib cage, it's really hard for me to like keep it open takes a lot of energy. So like once I get down, then I feel relaxed, which is I think the opposite of most people.
So that like kind of works in your favor.
It does. Thank you, scoliosis. You fucked up my back, but you gave me a great breath hold.
Okay, next issue and last one.
Yay. Okay, we gotta give.
Sparky, right? Yeah,
Hey,
Sparky.
hey. There we go.
Ooh, okay.
What has been your favorite dive of all time?
My favorite dive is in Tonga in the cave when the bait ball was there, and it's like still some of my favorite photos and video that I've ever experienced, because you
so
swim
cool.
into it and then all the light is like reflecting on the fish, and it's just I don't know, you just forget anything else exists.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, I've had amazing experiences with whales, but that particular spot and like day was just I don't know, it was magical. Yeah.
It sounds out of this world.
It literally was. I felt like an astronaut actually.
Yeah.
You're just neutrally buoyant, so you're not sinking or floating. You're just like suspended.
Yeah.
And all the fish are moving around you. It's really cool.
So cool. Oh my
know,
gosh,
I
I
love that.
learned so much on this.
Yeah, thank you.
Yay.
So I think before we wrap it up, we want to play one more segment with you.
Which is the shoot your shot segment.
Yeah,
all right.
You have to tell us who your creator crush is, and it cannot be like Channing Tatum. Like
Yeah,
we're
it
talking,
can't be like some basic
in
person.
our creative industry, someone that you're like, ooh, like you're fine, and I love your work.
Yeah.
You know?
So I don't know that I have a creator crush that I like to date, but as far as their content, there's this girl, Paulina Washington, that has insane stuff. Like I love her content so much. So
Have you met her?
No, but
Okay.
it would be really
This is a
fun to work with
PSA.
her.
Yeah.
Paulina?
Paulina Washington. Yeah.
Paulina Washington.
She's an amazing creator.
Charyse wants to work with you.
She's going to
I do.
Tahiti in August. Fly there and meet her
If
and
you
work with
wanna
her. I love that.
love it.
Okay, cool. So to wrap it up, do you have any advice for anybody aspiring to do underwater photography, or like how they can get into it? Like what would be your advice?
It's not as hard as you think it is. Like it's just go and like, spray and pray. Like, you'll get a good photo at some point.
Why'd you say spray and pray?
Yeah, you
I
just like
that.
shoot a bunch of photos in a row and you just pray you got one.
Spray and pray. That's like funny.
Maybe everyone knows what that means. I was like, am I an idiot?
Well, no, I'm not gonna lie. I thought about my cat and like how he sprays.
I thought of a water gun.
Oh, I thought of my cat and how we used to spray areas of the house to mark his territory.
Oh my God. Yes, that's what I mean.
She's like, just go pee on your territory. Mark your territory, guys.
That's like
With
spray
your
and
photos. Yeah, I would just say do that and like just take as many photos as you can. Like just get something that like is a cheaper housing, or even a GoPro. GoPros are amazing with how they shoot video. Just take a GoPro and just try it out and see what content you can get.
Yeah.
And then go from there. Like just try it. Like it's really not as hard as I think people think it is.
So you are
It
saying
sounds
just do
complicated.
it.
Yeah, I am saying just do it. Just go.
Well, Charyse, it's been so good to have you
Yeah,
on.
thank you for coming.
I would really love to do a part 2 because I feel like we just barely hit the surface.
Yes.
Yes, let's do it. Let's go.
So many water puns. But where can everyone find you? Plug yourself.
@_Charyse, CHARYSE.
Perfect.
That's me.
Go give her a follow. Her
Yes.
work is seriously so stunning, you guys. It's like visually just like
It's like visual,
so
like
stimulating
content
and
porn.
stunning. Yeah.
Oh my
it's
God.
beautiful.
I love you guys.
But thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Of
This was
course.
fun.
This was so fun.
We're definitely gonna do a part 2. We'll
Hell yeah.
probably come
In
to
Tahiti.
you. Yes.
No, honestly. Also, when Georgia and I say that, we don't bullshit. We
That's what I mean,
being
like, we'll
so
actually
legitimate.
go.
Yeah, no, I know.
Even if we can't afford it, we'll put it on our credit card.
Oh my gosh.
Pay it off over time. It's fine.
On that note, guys, please give us a follow on all social media. Like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. We really need some reviews on
Yes,
Spotify
please,
and
please,
Apple
please.
Podcasts. Spotify, it's so easy. You guys just go on our profile and just click the stars.
Yeah, that's it.
You don't even have to write anything. It's just at the top.
It's like
It is
1 second.
So fast. It takes not even. It's like so fast. Please just give us little stars.
love.
I'm not gonna tell you how many stars, but like
5.
Yeah,
would
if you want to
we
do
would like
5, like that
5,
would be
but
cool.
I'm not gonna pressure you into giving us 5 if you don't think we deserve it. But like
But like, give us 5.
Love us.
Apple, we need reviews.
Yes.
So even if it's a one word, like cool,
Yeah, like
fun,
sick. Nice.
Hate. No. Hate follow.
Hate follow.
But yes, we do need some rates and reviews. And then, yeah, just generally do all the things you would do to support podcasts that you enjoy.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye, guys.